What's up everyone and welcome to the first Star Wars book review of 2024. Today we're talking about the first middle grade book in Phase 3 of the High Republic, Escape from Valo by Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong. The book comes out on January 30th, so don't worry, this will be spoiler free. For the short version, I thought it was enjoyable. It's written for someone much younger than I am, but I go into all of the middle grade books with that understanding. I go in expecting lower galactic stakes, more lighthearted adventures, and more humor. I would say Escape from Valo follows that basic pattern, but I was surprised quite a few times by how serious or even violent things got. The story follows Padawan Ram Jomaram as he gets stuck on his homeworld Valo, which is itself stuck behind the storm wall in Nile territory. To fight his enemies, he takes on a vigilante Batman-type persona, that is until he meets 3 Jedi younglings who need guidance and protection. My favorite aspect of the High Republic as a whole is the characters, and Ram has been a standout to me since he first appeared in Race to Crash Point Tower. I love his connection to the Force through his gifts as a mechanic. He's a unique Jedi learning to be more social. Seeing his friendship develop with Reath Silas was a highlight of the book Midnight Horizon. I liked his forced evolution into becoming a teacher this time around. A Batman needs a Robin or 3. The younglings are a fun group too. 2 of them are Alcedian, a bird-like species you might recognize from the Dr. Aphra comics, but getting to know their culture better was fun. The third, the tightly wound, most responsible one of the group, named Gavi, is who I felt for the most, because he has been through some rough stuff ever since the Nile attacked the Republic Fair back in the novel The Rising Storm. And that book actually has some very relevant connections to Escape from Valo, which makes sense, they take place on the same planet, but still, several plot points got me hyped up knowing where things were headed thanks to previous stories. The connectivity is probably my second favorite thing about the High Republic. You don't necessarily have to read everything, but it feels appropriately rewarding when you do. I can already see how Escape from Valo will connect to the future of the High Republic as well, and it connects to the era's more distant past. If you read Phase 2, specifically the High Republic Adventures, you'll be treated with several familiar faces, or relatives of familiar faces, like the new young pirate character Zyle, which is just a cool name. They're cocky and funny and introduce a new dynamic to the team of young Jedi. And to go back to them, I think their relationship is one of the best looks we've had of Jedi at this age. We've heard of Avar Kriss and Delzar Mann and other Jedi characters developing crushes on one another, but we've never really seen a character experience it in real time. Stories like this or Dooku Jedi Lost make me think a series about younglings or Padawans growing up at the Jedi Temple would be so interesting. It's also cool to get a sense of how the Jedi interacted with the citizens of Valo. These kids know the planet and its people. By the time of the Clone Wars, the Jedi were more central to Coruscant, but I love seeing them here, walking the streets, waving hello to their non-Jedi neighbors and friends. There are 2 new villain characters I think will be fun to see developing in coming stories. Niv Drindow is a creepy Umbaran scientist, and Drigget is a Valo citizen who sided with the baddies. The rest of the Nile were on the cartoonish side. They didn't feel that threatening and more served as the butt of jokes. Fortunately, they're usually funny jokes, but I'm someone who has always enjoyed Daniel Jose Older's sense of humor. I could also see Alyssa Wong's fingerprints throughout the book, which is never a bad thing. I love the Dr. Aphra comics, so it's great to see them join the High Republic writing team. Despite many of the Nile characters being on the sillier side, there definitely is some danger in this book. Ram, Zyle, and the younglings get into some serious peril. It got grim and violent at points. It was stuff that I would normally expect to see in a young adult book, and that's kind of true of its length too, coming in at over 350 pages, but it's still a fast and fun read to get through. So who would I recommend this book to? High Republic completionists, first and foremost, that's the obvious answer. I actually think we might be to the point where jumping into the High Republic in Phase 3 won't work. Escape from Valo does a good job reminding the existing audience of what's going on, but I think it would be a lot for a brand new High Republic reader to take in. If you're considering giving the High Republic a shot for the first time, I would still recommend starting in Phase 1 or even Phase 2 can work. But I think that's all I've got to say about Escape from Valo. I enjoyed it quite a bit for a middle grade book. It gave me more Ram, who I love, and it's nice to have a more steady stream of stories in between the novels. The adult middle grade books used to come out on the same day, but I prefer having them spread out a bit. So that's it for today. Keep an eye out in the near future because I'll be releasing interviews with both authors. One will be spoiler free, and once the book is out, we'll talk about the whole story. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our socials, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.